In this session, we will take a look at some questions based on escalators. These questions have appeared quite frequently in some of the exams, and they are similar in nature to boats and streams. And that is why we've taken them as an extension to the concept of boats and streams. So let us look at the few basics. The speed of a person walking on an escalator when the escalator is stationary is represented as x. Similarly, the speed of the escalator is represented as y. So downstream means in the direction of escalator. So when a person is walking in the direction of escalator, we say he is walking downstream. And when a person walks against the direction of escalator, we would say he is walking upstream. Upstream speed is x minus y. We've seen that in the previous session. And downstream speed is equal to x plus y. Let us look at two questions which will help us understand questions based on escalators. A boy walks up an escalator which is coming down. The boy takes 40 steps to reach the top of the escalator. On his way down, the boy takes only 24 steps and reaches the bottom of the escalator. How many steps make the escalator? Now, the questions based on escalators pose another problem. We are generally used to distances being measured in meters, kilometers, centimeters, and so on. In questions based on escalators, the distance is generally measured in steps, and that is what we need to get used to. There are two cases here. Case number one, when the boy travels against the escalator, and therefore the boy walks up the escalator while the escalator is coming down, and the boy has to take 40 steps. This is case 1. Then there is a case 2 when the boy walks down the escalator which is also coming down. In this case, the boy has to walk 24 steps. Obviously, since the escalator is also helping the boy reach the bottom, the boy will walk fewer steps than he had to walk in case number 1. So, when the boy walks up an escalator that is coming down, the total steps of the escalator must be the steps taken by the boy minus the steps taken by the escalator which is moving in the opposite direction. So, what is our basic equation? Our basic equation is total steps is equal to steps of the boy SB minus SE, which is the steps run by the escalator in the same time. So we know that the steps taken by boy is equal to 40 are equal to 40 minus q into t. So where q is the number of steps that the escalator travels in 1 unit time. In this case, it could be a second, it could be a minute, whatever. So 40 minus qt is the total number of steps that make the escalator. So we see that SE is the steps of the escalator which is equal to Q into T, and Q is the steps run by the escalator per unit time. Similarly, when the boy walks down, the total steps must be equal to the steps walked by the boy plus the steps run by the escalator, because in this case both are moving in the same direction. So what is our equation? Total steps is equal to SB. Now in this case, SB is the steps taken by the boy when he is walking down plus SE, which is the steps of the escalator in the same time as the boy walks 24 steps. Because the escalator has run only for as much time as the boy has walked 24 steps. So what is our equation in this case? Total steps is also equal to 24, the number of steps taken by the boy, plus q into 24 upon 40 into t. Now, why that 24 upon 40 into t? We assumed that if the time taken by the boy to walk 40 steps is t, then the time taken by the boy to walk 24 steps should be 24 by 40th fraction of t? Because escalator only runs for as much time as the boy has been walking. For example, in the first case, when the boy took 40 steps, the escalator ran for the time for which the boy took those 40 steps. Similarly, in the second case, the escalator will run for 24 by 40th fraction of t, because it will run only as much time as the boy takes to walk 24 steps. So we see that if the boy requires t minutes in climbing up, he will need 24 upon 40 t, that is equal to 0.6 t minutes in climbing down. So we can equate the total steps. 40 minus qt is equal to 24 plus q into 24 upon 40t. So once we create this equation, we get the value of qt as 10. So if qt is 10, substitute in the first equation, total steps is equal to 40 minus qt, and therefore 40 minus 10, which is equal to 30. Therefore, the total steps in this escalator is equal to 30. Let us look at another question. A boy walks up an escalator at a local mall and takes 20 seconds to do so because the escalator is moving down. Then he walks down the same escalator which is also moving down and takes only 12 seconds to do so. If the boy walks down a stationary escalator, what will be the time required by him to walk down the same escalator? Let us see how to solve this question. The boy is walking up an escalator and then walking down an escalator. To walk down an escalator, the time taken by him should be equal to d upon x plus y, because x plus y is the downstream speed of the boy walking in the direction of escalator. This is equal to 12 seconds, and this is our equation number 1. Similarly, where d is the number of steps in the escalator, when the boy walks against the escalator, the time taken by the boy in doing so is d upon x minus y, because x minus y is the upstream speed of the boy on the escalator, and this is equal to 20. Now what do we require? We require the time required by the boy to walk d steps when he is traveling on his own and the escalator is not running at all. So we are looking at the value of d upon x. So solving these two equations, we need to get the value of d by x. Although there are 3 variables in 2 equations, but we do not require to separate each variable. We will just divide equation number 2 by equation number 1. When we divide equation 2 by equation 1, we'll get x plus y upon x minus y is equal to 20 upon 12. And then we get x upon y is equal to 4. Once we get the value of x upon y as 4, substitute the value of y as x upon 4 in any of the above equations 1 or equation 2. I do it for equation number 1. So d upon x plus x by 4 must be equal to 12. And if you simplify this, you'll get the value of d by x as 15 seconds. Therefore, this boy will take 15 seconds in walking up or down an escalator which is not moving at all. So with this, we come to an end of this session. If you have any feedback or any query, please feel free to mail us at studentservices@pfindia.com. Thank you very much.